Alrighty. Hello, friends. We're gonna be diving in deep again today, as always, and I wanna thank you for tuning in and being here, for being a part of this journey, as we sort of, uncover and unlock keys and mysteries to this existence, and move further and deeper into who we truly are, and what we're truly capable of. And so what today's dive is going to sort of center around is nature. I mean, that's what we're always kind of going to be interested in if we're on a journey of awakening and rediscovery and healing, because through coming into nature, back to nature, those things can be expedited, and we can really start to gain a stronger ground and gain a better footing of who we are, a better understanding of who we are, I should say. And nature is magnificent. It's this. If we spend so much time in this man-made world, in the the inorganic grid, as I would call it, the cities, the towns, we can sort of lose our connection to that source, or that incredible magisterial world that is, it's under threat. It's almost like, as the man-made world expands and as humanity expands, this world, this other realm, this natural consciousness, but this natural consciousness that I'm talking about is something that we can always get back to, that we can always return to, and that I think that's a very important habit to cultivate, about, grounding yourself in nature and allowing those energies to wash over you and flow through you, as a way of healing, because in this world, right, in this man-made world, we're damaged. Our souls are damaged, and cultivating self-awareness allows us to actually realize that. It's like, oh shit, some things have really gone south here on the planet. But if we live in such a state of distraction, where we're not, paying attention to things, and, we're, always on the go, always on the move, always seeking, always looking externally, then we're not going to ever realize that we have actually a really deep need for healing and rest. But nature will always remind us of this, So the other kind of mystery about nature, and honestly about existence itself, really about how we interact with the world and how we relate to others and all this, is that the natural world, nature, it honestly, all it is doing, not all it's doing a lot, but one of the most powerful things that it does as it relates to being human or understanding ourselves is that it holds a mirror for our spirit. Nature will always mirror our spirit back to us. It will always show us back to ourselves. That's kind of the weird thing, is that, or at least that's been something I've sort of felt or discovered along my journey, is that, I went to nature often, to take walks in the woods as a form of escapism, as a way of trying to get away from things, trying to escape things, trying to get away from myself, right? And, I felt as though I could sort of connect to something and sort of, feel something different, but that I would always have to return, I would always have to go back to myself, And that's always true, You can't run away from yourself, You can't escape reality. You can't escape truth. But being in nature, I think, being, in those sort of environments, the forests, the oceans, the rivers, the beaches, it brings you closer to truth, if you are seeking it, if you have questions about who you truly are, where you truly come from, right? Because we all are a part of nature. We are nature. We are, a living incarnation of Earth itself. Our bodies are grounding, it's grounding ourselves in nature. So, that's another thing that nature teaches is a deepening awareness of the body itself, of the physical, organic organism that we occupy. And that actually taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself, is taking care of Mother Earth and the planet. Because, it's a weird, it's a weird thing. I don't know how else to say it. It's just like you start to understand yourself as, as nature, because you are, truly. But because of conditioning and, programming, we've sort of forgotten that, we sort of have lost some of that connection, but regaining that ground and regaining that understanding of ourselves is very important. Because again, it's all a mirror. This universe, it can only show you back to yourself. It can only return the energy that you send to it, And nature is doing that too, on a massive level, This is why I've talked about how there's actually a direct connection or correlation between storms, volcanoes, hurricanes, and human consciousness, that nature always has a way of balancing things out, so as humanity expands and grows and overpopulates, nature takes steps to keep things in check, to keep we're all under the sway of these mysterious forces, you know? And so honoring that and revering those forces and those mysteries are a way of, I guess you could say, you know, staying on her good side, making sure we're not criminals, you know, making sure we're honoring and respecting our planet and our mother, you know, our great mother. Because again, you know, she has a dark side, you know, and you can, you know, you can find yourself, you know, spiritually, if you're not careful, you know, you can venture into the dark side of the moon. And, you know, that's a scary place. You know, that's a, you know, things can happen, you know, to your consciousness in those sort of places and spaces that are, you know, yeah, it can scare you, you know, your psychic damage, right? That's the moon is the psyche, you know, it's our mental, you know, imaginal patterning, in abilities that, you know, the moon when it's full, those capabilities and those energies are at their most potent, right? Because that is where it comes from. It's that magnetic pulse, you know, that permeates through the whole reality, you know, and it's what moves the ocean. It's what moves the tides. It's what moves the energy through the consciousness, through the reality. It's the moon. It's the psyche. It's the psychic body, which is, you know, it is a metaphysical dimension of consciousness that we're connected to through our dreams, through our imaginings, you know, inspiration, ideas, you know, the moon. It's, you know, artists, you know, musicians, they've always, you know, there's always been a connection there that they've credited how, you know, the moon can, you know, draw something magical, you know, inspire something magical in us. But again, that there's a dark side of the moon, you know, that nature in her beautiful magisterial essence also holds an unseen dark side. And again, we are nature, right? So we're the same. We also, within, this is called the shadow. It's the aspects of ourselves, the darker, you know, more, I guess you could say, vicious sort of side of us. And the more we venture into that side, the more damage can be done to the psyche, the soul, you know, the side of us that is light, you know, that is radiant, that is pure, that is brilliant, you know, the side that we are trying to learn how to unlock and tap into in order to awaken our potential in our creative capabilities, in our, you know, our potential as humans to, you know, to advance spiritually. So this is sort of almost, I guess, you know, a sort of warning against the ways of this world, because many people are, very much, well, the word vicious, right? It's has to do with the vice, right? A vice is something that holds, right? Something that squeezes and pinches. It's an old it's an old tool you'll see in any workshop. A vice. It's made to hold things, right? And the more we try to do that, right? The more we try to grab life and to hold life and to rather than let it be, rather than just let life be, the more and more we can activate that sort of darker, vicious side of our own inner nature, So, light is all about freedom. Light is all about letting go, of just sort of, and it's a weird position to occupy when you're sort of just, like John Lennon said, just watching the wheels go around, when you're, on the outside looking in, right? That's a hard place to be, because we want to get into things, right? And we can, obviously. There's, forms of creativity and there's all sorts of, ways of interacting and engaging with the world and with life around us that aren't harmful, that aren't vicious, right? But we have to acknowledge that there's obviously a side of us that, has this sort of, this other design on life, this other scheme. And just learning how to be wary of that and how to balance, right? Because it's not about rejecting anything. It's not about saying, oh, this is evil, don't do this. No, I mean, the dark side is real, but it's also like very fascinating. It's very beautiful, actually. And, we all kind of get into that. We're all kind of drawn into certain things that we acknowledge have a sort of a darker, mysterious aspect to it. And that's very beautiful. But, trying to become the sort of, get to the center point of the light and the dark, where you can acknowledge your own darkness, you can acknowledge, that you're a hungry animal, a hungry wolf, if you will. But then to also acknowledge that, that you're so much more than that. You're so much more than, what this, this realm has made you believe you are, So it's about, transcending, because, but, to bring this back to nature, to bring this back to the earth, the organic grid of life around us, is just to remember that it's a mirror, it's a mirror for our own consciousness. So, if we get so caught up in the dark side of things and worrying about the dark side of things, it just means that, we have inner work to do, right? We are that darkness, so how can we shed light on it? How can we alchemize it and turn it into something, And that's a challenge, it's not easy, working on yourself, improving yourself, making yourself a better person, and bringing more light to your consciousness is not easy, because again, this world is, it's the animal, it's the beast. But that's not to be demonized, that's not to be, rebelled against, it's to be, it's to become the fuel or the horse that can draw or pull or carry the chariot, because your spirit is the chariot, your higher essence that is sort of essentially trapped inside of an animal body, a carnal body. So becoming, the spirit inside of the flesh, or the, rather than the spirit that's torn apart by the flesh. Again, that's what I mean by psychic damage, is that if you get too into, this, physical, animal, carnal existence, if that's the only source of your energy and your power, and that you're not connected to, if you don't have a spiritual connection, if you're not connected to a higher plane, then your psyche, your inner being can kind of get torn apart in this world. You can become lost and confused. But that nature, again, always holds a gateway towards holism, towards a returning to the primal, original self. But that in the world of humanity, in the sea of humanity, in the cities, in the towns, and in the areas where where essentially the light is just very divided, very fragmented, not whole, damaged, we can forget how to find that holism, that originality. So I'm hoping that, these videos is a way of helping you rediscover your originality, and return to your whole self, your full self. Because to be honest, in this world, in the fragmented state, because it's all a mirror, remember, everyone is just a mirror, for your own energy, your own spirit. So you won't find originality, because you'll just have to base yourself off of something that already, or someone that already exists, some idea that's already been brought forth, some, way of dressing, or, whatever it is. You won't find originality. You'll find originality when you come back to your grounded, spiritual, holistic, full self through meditation, through just being in nature, through unlocking that door, through looking at that mirror. So I hope this was a mirror for you to return to that original creator that you are, and that it's helpful information on how to navigate this plane of existence. So thank you, And, we'll be back with more soon. And I'm wishing you a beautiful day or evening whenever you're watching this. And, stay tuned. So, all right.